These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence, but I can't feed on the pound.
Two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome to episode 94 of America's Barley Basket. My name is Nathan Folsabuk. Sitting next to me, physically, is Marlon Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlon.
How are you?
I'm realizing now that we've been doing the podcast face-to-face, cheek-to-cheek for so long now that the whole physically thing is completely redundant.
Oh, yeah, it has been for weeks, but you seem to enjoy it, so I haven't said anything.
You know, never stop. Once you stop having fun, that's when you truly start aging. That's
Yeah. No, I appreciate that you keep living and not get busy dying.
I'm just over here just leaking mirth all over your couch. Just a boyish, joyful presence. Pheromones are radiating.
Don't leave pheromones in my couch.
Oh, too late, brother.
Oh, no.
I'm never not leaking pheromone. I'm never not putting the vibe on. I can't help it.
Never not pheromoning.
Yep. Those floodgates are permanently stuck open. There's
gross.
Yeah.
That's why I got box elder bugs in my apartment.
They're ready to fucking fuck.
Box elder bugs are a late summer, early fall thing. That's when they invaded, and they are still here in my apartment.
I see there's one right there.
Yeah.
How are they still alive?
They survived all winter.
Oh, my God.
Which leads me to believe they're inside the apartment.
They are eternal.
Maybe I got a nest of them in here somewhere.
No shit. It is. There's still snow on the ground, and there's a box elder bug defying nature.
Yeah, they've been here since early August.
And they're in charge now.
Yeah, they're running things.
They're your centipede. That's who you answer to.
Fuck, I do have my own centipedes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good Creed deep cut.
My own. Never got much radio play, but
getting debugged on a Sunday morning.
We did Eddie Vedder voice and Scott Stapp voice, arguably the same voice.
Pretty much, yeah. One is riding some.
That's all it is. Yeah, that's. You tell us which one that was.
Yeah. That's a fun game we could play.
Stapp or Vedder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other 11 lead singers of late 90s, early 2000s butt rock bands that just ape that sound.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a buddy and I used to constantly send each other photos of Scott Stapp, and we called it Stapp Chat. And that was a good couple of months.
There's a video of him performing at halftime of a Dallas Cowboys game.
Damn it, it's so good.
That is just, man, it's just 2001 as 2001 can be.
Yeah, just majestic.
Yeah. There was like people like those like curtain acrobats.
Ribbon dancers.
There we go, yep. I'm sure there was a Cowboys jersey tucked into baggy cargo shorts or something.
That's a good look.
Yeah. You tuck those jerseys in.
Yeah. Tuck in everything.
Yeah, right?
You ready to adopt that lifestyle?
Oof, I don't know what my body is. Boy? My body will revolt against tucking. It's pushing at the boundaries anytime something gets tucked in.
I'm in the same boat. I'm not a tucker.
Get it out of here.
Sucks. Tucking shit in sucks.
Yeah. My frame doesn't like it.
No.
I'm a blousey boy. I want billowy fabrics.
The Blousey Boy is one of my favorite tag teams of the early aughts.
Very tent-like in my fashion choices.
Blousey Boy. Oh, fuck. We got Simpsons going again this week. Why not?
Shit.
You want to keep talking about the Simpsons?
Why not? Let's see what this is about.
May as well. We had a good batch last week, if you'll remember. Hell of a banger batch last week. Let's see if it continues this week.
Just a couple left.
Oh, we're almost done with season 21. We're going to start with episode 21, Mo Letter Blues. I love that we're having a barfly rodeo at Moe's.
Holy shit. Yeah, that was good. That's a good
Homer
start.
riding Barney, and then getting bucked, and rodeo clown Lenny coming in to distract Barney. Very funny.
Barney is really at the depths of his alcoholism in this batch.
We haven't seen much of him, and when we do, he's almost inhuman at this point. Like, he's no longer a functioning member of society.
You're in tough shape when you're that guy at the bar.
Yeah.
It's like, what'll he eat? Don't dump those ashtrays. Maybe he'll eat them.
What'll he eat is a bad thing to hear from afar and see people looking at you.
People talking at you, too. Like, you're right there. They can ask you if you'll eat. Nope. Dump the ashtrays in front of him. He'll think it's food.
So Mother's Day is coming up in Springfield, and you mentioned a couple of seasons ago that this is a thing now. Late in the season, you have of a lovey-dovey episode around Mother's Day. This is that one. Marge wants the kids and Homer to go on the Krusty Cruise to Weasel Island. I think just to get them out of the fucking house.
Yep, I think so.
Because they kind of suggest, we should do something for Mother's Day, and Marge suggests they leave her alone.
Which I get.
So they decide to do that. They get on the ship, and then the squeaky voiced teen comes running. He's got a letter delivery, and tosses it onto the boat, and they read the letter. It's from Mo, who's been narrating this whole time. Mo is the omnipotent narrator in this episode. And it's a letter from Mo addressed to Lovejoy, Apu, and Homer. And in the letter, he lets them know that while they're gone, he's going to leave town with one of their wives. Which sets up the whole thing. Yeah. It's mostly flashbacks this episode. We get a lot of the guys trying to think of who it might be, like sitting around thinking of reasons their wives would leave them. And like Homer thinks back to a party for Marge's mom that he ruined by getting into it with Patty and Selma, and then Apu thinks back to a fight that he had with his wife Manjula, and then during that one, like they get in a fight, they forget one of the octuplets back at Moe's bar where they had to stop to use a phone or change or something. I think change, and then. So Manjula goes back, and her and Mo play Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah. Oh, my! It was like you get 4-H and Dance Dance Revolution within 3 seasons of each other. They're really placating to you right now.
King of the Hill still #1 for American TV series to feature DDR.
Oh no shit!
Because there's that whole episode where Bobby meets that one girl who's super into it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say now that you say it, Bobby was a big DDR player.
I was shopping for DDR pads online yesterday.
Oh, no shit.
So I've reached a point in my life where, like, yesterday I shopped for DDR pads and vintage calculator watches.
And
I don't know what's happening
I'm in a weird place
to me anymore. I'm in a weird spot.
Please tell me you have downstairs neighbors.
I don't.
Your landlord coming up, you are just baby hewing it on a DDR pad and nothing but an adult diaper. Just sweatier shit. Like, come on, man. It's two up.
Close the door.
Yeah. Or come in.
You want to try on one of these calculator watches? I've discovered I like the look of like a late 70s, early 80s metal vintage calculator watch, and I think I should have one.
If I had a little bit more fuck you money, I'd like to have a beat up old Rolex.
Yeah.
There's something funny about that.
So it's still a Rolex, but it's a shitty one?
Yeah, just dropping that on a table and look at it.
All cracked.
You have a level of sophistication you can't even comprehend. And you're going to tell me I can't medium size this meal? Think about what you're doing right now and the repercussions. Look at the watch. Get me a medium fry.
That's the same attitude I bet that when I see people who have like a Porsche but a shitty one.
Yeah.
When you see an old shitty Porsche, like they're so small and like paint faded, maybe some rust on it. It's like you're just happy to have a Porsche,
like some of it's like the 80s ones, like big faded rubber bumpers and shit. Yeah,
there's something about having a shit version of a Gucci thing that is pretty funny to me.
I've heard like 80s like lower model Porsches are fun to drive because they're basically a street legal go-kart.
Yeah.
They fucking weigh 800 pounds, you know?
I'm sure they're a blast to drive. Do you think you and I could both sit in a Porsche right away before the
absolutely
sentence was
not.
even out? You were shaking your head.
I could maybe get in one and then call 911. I could probably get in and drive. Shifting might be hard. They're manuals. Well, a mutual friend of ours, dad, at one time had a sports car that I saw, and I looked. It was the roof of that car was mid-thigh. It was like, oh, this is for fucking 5'1" Italian men, not 6'2", 7 men pushed together like I look like. This is, it's like you're literally lying down in some of those cars.
Not
like
these fucking corn-fed boys look like they all got into the larder over the weekend.
Thick fucking ankle, just. I mean, as if my feet didn't fit down into the well where the pedals are. I got a broomstick hitting pedals.
Why can't you drive a Porsche? My feet are too fat. Gotta give me some of the foot corsets with the whalebone.
Get my geisha on so I can drive the sports car.
Getting into foot wraps.
Oh God!
Just so you can drive the sports car. Oh shit! My the car I drove before what I drove now was pretty fucking low to the ground for somebody
really?
my size. Yep. Like had low pro tires and was set pretty low to the ground to begin with. Watching me getting in and out of that car was probably pretty comical.
Yeah. Do you just flip right out of the ground?
Nope, I didn't have to roll out of it. I could get out of it.
Putting your hands on the side to help pull yourself up.
Parking next to pickups just so I can grab their rearview mirror. Boy, that guy must really want Quiznos. Help me damn.
No pain, no gain. There's a good gag in this where I think it's one of the first times they're on Weasel Island and the men are discussing their marriage problems. If you watch in the background, Bart is got all of Apu's 8 children in a cell because it's like a colonial era fucking colony island, and that's the history of it. Yep. And while the men are talking, those kids free themselves, overpower Bart, and one of the last things you see is them holding Bart down, and one of them about to saw one of Bart's legs off. I love little things like that.
Yeah,
that
was some fun background shit. I really liked because it also mentions somewhere on a sign somewhere, I think you see it's brought up that it used to be a Civil War penitentiary as well.
That's what it is. Okay.
So Bart's got that Union cap on, just role play like, you rebels make me disgusted.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're right. Yeah.
And Lisa comes by just like, boy, when there's cruelty involved, he does know his history. That was fun. Lovejoy also thinks back, remembers a fight. So really, it could be anybody. It could be anyone's game here as far as whose wife is leaving them for Mo.
Yeah.
Marge back home is so we get home and Otto's driving the bus, dropping everybody off after the cruise is over, and it goes one by one. He drops off Homer and he comes in. It looks like Marge is packing, but she's packing up her paints because she just painted her mom, Mrs. Bouvier, who we don't see very often.
And I think, do we even get a speaking line out of her?
Yep.
Ain't been many of those.
No, big day for Marge's mom. And then bus keeps going, so it's either Lovejoy or Apu. They get home to Lovejoy's place, and he goes in, and she's packing stuff also, and he's like, "What? I guess you're leaving." And no, she bought tickets for them to take a romantic train trip to Turkey.
Yep,
I believe to Istanbul.
Yeah. The most erotic of all trains. Mm-hmm. You know who else we get in that scene is a glimpse of their daughter. Haven't seen much of Lovejoy's daughter. There's a very early episode.
To the point where I was like, oh, I forgot they have a kid.
Yep.
And then when we get to Apu is like, well, it's me then. Clearly, I'm the only one left. And when he gets there, Mo is at Apu's, and Manjula explains that Mo just, like, talked her out of leaving. And we end up back at Mo's at the bar, and Mo being like, yeah, I sent you guys that letter so you would fucking wake up. And in the meantime, I was fixing everybody's marriages for you. And then, yeah, sent you the letter to realize that you've been fucking up. And then everyone's back together and everyone's happy. And then we get like a mom montage because it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
It's the Mother's Day episode. So just a nice, that was fine.
Yep.
Nice little episode. The Weasel Island jokes provided enough of the funny. I'm not huge on things that super rely on flashback, and there's a lot of it in this episode. But it's fine. It was fine. Totally fine episode. Sweet ending.
This is probably my second favorite of this batch. I enjoyed the story more than the jokes, probably, but I'm a Mo guy.
Yeah, I like Mo.
Yeah.
Why he's the one doing this, I don't know, because he's also written as such a fucking dirtbag. So, like, why he's the one helping everybody out is, I don't know about that.
Peculiar. Yep.
Yeah, but I imagine it was written the other way where it's like, who's the one character we would believe would steal someone's wife, and it's Mo. Yeah. And then you wrote it from there.
We're up to our final episode of Season 21, Episode 22, The Bob Next Door. Episode begins with the Springfield city meeting of some kind.
Town hall.
Town hall meeting.
Springfield loves the town hall.
They're rousing their rabble. I don't know if there's like a specific reason why, but just that they're broke.
Yep.
They're broke.
Financial meltdown.
Yep. And then we just get a bunch of good gags of them showing where the cuts are. Like, there's a staffing. They cut the staff of the school, so the bus just pulls up, and then they just take them all home, which I liked. They no longer can afford radar guns. It's just a thermos tied to like a sprinkler head. Like,
a hose gun.
Hose gun. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
They can't afford to collect roadkill off the highways anymore.
So Krusty of Krusty Burger fame just collects it all.
Yeah.
And really though, it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the plot. It's just a goof. Am I right?
Well, it's why they released the criminals. Oh. Because that's the last one. And we release all the lower level criminals out of the penitentiary.
Yeah. Okay. That adds up. So now we get the Simpsons are watching one of their neighbors move away. And what was Marge's line? One more person leaving Springfield to make it big in Detroit.
Yeah. Looking for a better life in Detroit.
So the joke there is Detroit's shitty.
Is Detroit still that?
Yeah. I think the big thing with Detroit is huge swaths of it moved away. So it's not like crime. There's worse crime cities. There's just huge swaths where no one lives in. So it's if you are one of the people that lives there, it's super inconvenient because there's no businesses and your neighborhood looks like shit because you're the one house on your block that's not abandoned and has a yard that's kept up and stuff.
But I mean, is it still as shit as it was 10 years ago when it was the thing to dunk on? When it's like, oh, Detroit's falling the fuck apart.
I have a friend that did real estate in Detroit. He made a mint buying all those houses for giveaway prices, but he says they're not giveaway prices anymore. So that makes me think
they're on the upswing.
People move there because like, well, fuck, if I can get a decent house for $70,000, why not?
Yeah, that's what I always heard is like, oh, for the price of a house anywhere else, you can have your own fucking block. Why wouldn't you go to Detroit?
Yeah, you can have like of serfdom. You can build a wall around your community.
Imagine buying a block, tearing everything down, and just making it whatever you want.
And the people squatting in it are now your property. Yeah.
Come on, Clancy, you're mine now.
Yeah.
Your job is to bark at the mailman.
Yeah. Arf. Arf, arf. Come on. Put some passion
Bark
into
better.
it. So the people are moving there. They keep, of course, new neighbor moves in. You got to keep an eye on it. The old neighbor is replaced by a very fancy, dashing man named Walt Warren. And Bart immediately, his radar goes up. This seems fishy. He almost immediately thinks that's goddamn Sideshow Bob.
As soon as he hears him talk, and
he knows there's something up. And we get a good scene where he's upstairs in the treehouse talking to Milhouse about like, it has to be him. It doesn't look like him. I know in my bones it's him. And he's like, he won't be able to resist if we start singing show tunes. So they start singing this complicated musical number, and then he's just down doing yard work. And then he just like, and they sing it, and they leave the third verse for him, and he just like, sorry boys, that's not my kind of music. I think he's like a country man or something like that.
He's a country music guy.
And Bart is like, country music, that can't be. And it's like, and Milhouse thinks as if he's like, oh no, it's like, country's great. He talks to that local radio station. Is it Armadillo Mike in the
afternoons? Yeah.
the morning roundup.
Yeah. There's like a Rodeo Bob and the news roundup. 8 past the hour or whatever. Fuck. Yeah. Milhouse goes on for too long.
Armadillo Mike, how happy he is explaining all this to him. So, despite all of the neighbors passing the tests Bart sets out for him, Bart still convinced it's Sideshow Bob. Marge does not believe him and is fed up and decides to personally take Bart to the Springfield Maximum Security Prison to see Sideshow Bob.
Yep.
Which is totally right out of Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
walking
pretty
down
much. Walking down the hallway,
scary corridor. It's like, and they give Marge the warning about all the deranged criminals. It's like, pretty lady coming through, strapless dress, pretty lady.
Dress, yeah. And no straps. Only thing holding up her dress are her melons.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
So they take and they see there's like, it's a peephole. Like he's so under guard. There's not bars. They have to look through a little slot.
Yeah.
And he's in there writing, is it Bart Simpson Will Die? Mm-hmm. He's in a straitjacket. He's writing it with like lipstick with his mouth.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, he is off his rocker, but that's proof enough for Marge and kind of for Bart. Well, it is for Bart. They go back home. And that is where Walt, I believe his name is, Walt talks to them and hey, I know there's a little bit of misunderstanding. I want to take Bart just to mend the fences. Let's go to a baseball game, Bart. Yeah. And apparently Bart's a big baseball fan.
I guess, yeah, because he like rattles off a bunch of shit like he knows the team.
He just like every young boy, he loves minor league baseball. So they leave, and he drives a Prius. I remember that. Yeah. It's a specific car he drives. And around that time, Sideshow Bob appears at the Simpsons house. Like, Marge is in front of the sink, and he pops into the kitchen mirror. And Jesus Christ, he gets his neck slammed in there. He really goes through it. And that's where we find out that Sideshow Bob is not Sideshow Bob. He's actually Walt Warren. And it turns out Walt was Bob's cellmate. And since Walt had a low-level crime, Sideshow Bob knew he was going to get out of jail soon. So he fucking drugs and removes Walt's fucking face and swaps it with his own.
Yeah, he face-offs him.
Of that animation was so gnarly.
Bob cutting his own face off.
He's like
real slowly.
Yeah. He's like, I've taken so many frying pans to the face. All my senses are dulled. And immediately he's like in searing agony. Like, they show that blade cutting in. It's like, Jesus, Simpsons.
There have been segments of Treehouse of Horror that don't go as hard as this episode.
Right?
does.
Oh, absolutely.
When's the last time you watched Face Off?
Not since it was in the theater. I bet I watched it in high school when I was a kid.
You should watch it. Yeah. Face Off super holds up. Face Off is really great. Nick Cage is so fucking Looney Tunes in that movie.
I bet I might enjoy it more now, going in realizing don't take this seriously. This is not your typical,
There's my favorite little touch in that whole movie, because it doesn't do it anywhere else, or it doesn't even like try to be this kind of movie in any other way. There's a fucking 1 second moment in that movie where a lady walks by and Nick Cage's character looks at her ass, and the camera cuts to a close-up shot of her ass while one bass line goes brrr.
Really?
Like, it's so cartoonish and dumb. Just one slide note on a bass guitar, just boom.
And that's the only time it happens.
That's the only time. It doesn't do anything like that throughout the rest of the movie, but someone decided they should put that in there.
This seems like a good idea.
God damn it, it's funny. And Nick Cage is pretty primo Nick Cage in that.
God, and yeah, America needs more Nick Cage.
Yep.
At least in good
a literal
roles.
national treasure.
Yep. A national treasure stars a national treasure.
Well, he's back now.
Yeah,
He's
got
done.
them.
He got all his taxes paid off, so
he
he's
can be a little
back.
more choosy now.
Yeah, he's done doing the fucking weird direct-to-video shit, a lot of which I also liked.
Yeah, he made a few good ones in there. A lot of duds, but there's a few good ones in there.
Yeah.
So now Bart is trapped in a vehicle with what is now we now know Sideshow Bob, and I think he wraps Bart in just duct tape to the seat. And typical Sideshow Bob gives him the full story of how brilliant of a criminal he is, and they end up. He's got a plan. He's going to take him to the 5 points. That's what, like, there's the 4 points in Southwest U.S. This is the 5 points. It's came up in other episodes before. In The Simpsons, where the 5 states. I think we've seen it at least one other time. They're on some boring road trip, and that's a place they can visit.
The fucking 5 corners.
And on the way there, they stop at a little diner. And there's a good scene where the waitress, and it's a typical Central casting on a lonely middle-aged woman working at a highway diner, and she is of course smitten for Sideshow Bob because she's very lonely, and fucking Sideshow Bob's face falls off because she thinks it's like a loose thread or something like that
on his collar or
she
something.
Pulls it. It's what's holding his face on. So his face just flops off like a fruit. It's just flapping in front of him. And does he put a hat on to try to hold it in place
Puts
or
his
something?
belt around his forehead to keep it in place.
And he runs out because his face is falling off. That's what you should do. And she runs out. It's just fucking it doesn't matter. I don't care if your face is falling off. And what is she's like? It's like what? What is she like? All the good ones are either married or their faces are falling off. Or no, I'm sure that might be when she meets Warren, which is coming up.
After she meets Warren and goes through the same thing with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Warren has convinced them that what's going to happen, that he's going to take Bart to this location to kill him. Oh, actually, Lisa's the one that figures out. She finds some clue that informs, hey, they're going to go to the 5 points. So they take off for there.
The clue is just a pamphlet for the 5 corners with a sticky note that says "kill here," pointing to the center. Yeah. Clue is a pretty strong word there.
Bob, so smart yet so dumb.
Yeah, I love Bob.
So they ended up on the highway. They stop at the same diner and they explain the situation to the waitress, and she's like, "Oh, I heard they're going to Mexico." And goddamn Walt is able to pick up. I think he met her.
Yep.
They fell for each other. Now she's lying to protect him.
Yep.
Jesus, all that in one cup of coffee.
Meanwhile, the Simpsons take off for Mexico.
Because they're fucking idiots. And goddamn Walt Warren. What a citizen. His face falls off too.
Yeah.
And he's got to just hold it on with his hands.
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing to hold it on with. But he takes off for the 5 points. And that's where we cut to see Bart and Sideshow Bob. Bart's all tied up because Sideshow Bob's got this insanely dumb plan.
I love this plan.
It's like, if I'm standing in this state and you're standing on that pie segment there, I will have shot through 2 different states, so it's somehow legal.
Yeah, I'm going to stand in this state and fire a gun. A bullet is going to go through that state, and then you're going to die, and none of those things individually are illegal.
Yeah.
I love the logic.
I've driven through all of those states, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. That fucking 4 corners is a million miles from nowhere.
Oh, really?
No, not even I don't know. I want to know. Maybe there's got to be a tourist trap hotel or two.
Oh, I'm
but
sure.
there is no town of even 3,000 people. There's nothing.
Really?
It is so desolate. No interstate goes near it at all. Because I was like, fuck, we got time to kill. We should go see it just so we can.
Yeah.
It would be a whole day to do it. It'd be like a day out of your way. Oh, that's where 4 states meet, all right. Well,
look at this medallion in the ground that marks it.
We can drive to a spot where 3 states meet this afternoon, and I don't ever feel compelled to do it.
Yeah, we could be in an air-conditioned hotel right now.
Yeah. So if you're out there listening, you've been to the 4 corners and you had a majestic time, let us know. Let us know if we're missing out. So this is, and of course, and Bob has to orate it in grand fashion, how how he's going to kill Bart, and Bart starts jumping squares because Bart's little asshole DNA pays off sometimes.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, you can't. No, you have to be here. And then he jumps thinking, okay, no, but then and then that's when Warren shows up, and Warren is, of course, he wants revenge because Jesus Christ, he wants his face back. And that's what we get. We get a fight between them, and finally Bob does win, and it looks like, oh shit, could be tough times. But that is when goddamn Clancy and company come out of the steam because it's a Yellowstone type setting.
Yeah,
there's like hot springs everywhere. That's where they come out, and it's like, oh, Clancy, I hate to inform you, but you do not have jurisdiction in this state. And that's where we get a gag where it's a cop from all 5 states, some of which have like a New Jersey accent. So what part of the country are they?
That's the joke.
Some of them have like a Scandinavian-y.
Yep.
Yeah. So
yep.
like
Some of them are vaguely Canadian.
Yep.
Some are very obviously New Jersey. Some are wearing like CHIPS, California Highway Patrol uniforms.
Yeah.
Like that's the joke, is that you never know where the fuck Springfield is.
And I think it's the New Jersey cops that they get in with.
Yeah.
They're the ones kind of taking charge.
I liked that scene of all the different states' police showing up to get a hold of him.
Yeah. So Bob goes back to jail. I'm assuming Warren gets his face back. We don't really hear much from Warren after that.
No, he just he's not in the rest of this episode.
Yeah, he's out of jail. He has his face back. He can start a new life. So the Simpsons' house is open. The neighbor's house is open next door, and that's where because they're like, the joke is like, oh, no one could move in. What could be worse than Sideshow Bob?
Yeah.
That's when we get Ted Flanders. Ted is Ned's cousin, of course, and he has 2 daughters that look a lot like Rod and Todd.
Yeah.
And their interaction with each other is tremendous.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was a good gag.
Just Oakley dokley back and forth to each other while Homer's in the middle.
Can you think of what the daughters' names are? They got names that rhyme too. Yeah,
it's something. Yeah, it's like Molly and Holly or something like that. Claire and Blair, something along those lines.
Very good. And I was trying to think, can you remember early on, there's an episode that features the next door neighbor besides Ned. I can't.
The divorcee mom and the the girl Bart.
Yep, that's exactly. I was trying to think, when do we have another neighbor specific one? That's exactly it.
And that was forever ago.
Season 2 or 3, I bet.
Like, and we've seen her, that woman, the mom, like just pop up in the background here and there, but pretty rarely. Rare enough that you notice when it does happen, because she always wears that do-rag on top of her head.
Yeah.
But other than that, we haven't touched those neighbors in 20 seasons.
Think of that. Yeah. George Bush Sr. was president the last time.
Unbelievable. Yeah. One last one for season 21. It's the finale, episode 23, Judge Me Tender. Very first note of this episode, why is Lisa playing the trumpet in the intro? In the music room, she's not playing a saxophone. She has a trumpet.
Really?
Yeah, and it sounds different even.
Did you notice what the chalkboard gag was?
I don't think so. No,
it was this. So this just shows you where we're at in time culturally. The chalkboard gag, the end of Lost: it was a dog's dream. Watch us instead.
That's funny.
So I wonder, is there like a trumpet featured in Lost at all?
No idea.
Man,
maybe they're just throwing you a curveball for the sake of it. Who knows? But yeah, Lisa's got a trumpet.
Weird. I didn't even notice that, but that is weird.
And like the little ditty that she plays is a trumpet. It's not saxophone music.
I wonder if some jazz titan passed away.
Yeah, or just they decided to do it just for the hell of it. Season finale. What are they going to do? Fire me? Yeah.
Yep, good point. Yeah.
Bart and Homer are doing up Santa's little helper for an ugly dog contest that's happening in town. I forget at what, some sort of animal fair or animal event that they have going on in town. So they do up Santa's little helper as an ugly dog, and as they're going in, Bart goes, "You realize that we spent more time on this than all of my schoolwork, right?" Like, I like that they bonded over something, like trying to cheat an ugly dog contest. This insane scene of no one letting Mo sit with them when Mo is looking for a chair, and Lindsay Nagel, who we haven't seen in a while, is just like, oh, I'm saving that for, and she digs in her purse, this soy sauce packet, and sets it down. And fucking somebody else takes off their coat. I think it's Kirk Van Houten.
Yep.
Takes off his coat and puts it in the open chair next to him. And when they pass by Comic Book Guy, and because you get several of these as Mo is working down the row, when Comic Book Guy just fucking undoes his belt and his flob gut flaps onto the other
love handle / gut just flops into the other seat.
And it just explodes like a fucking tube of biscuits.
I'm pretty sure he wears sweats. What could be holding them in that much?
Who wears a belt with sweats?
Does he have a girdle on?
Oh my God. Yeah. So Mo, no one will let. And then he finally gets to the end, and it's Skinner's mom with an empty chair, and she just sets the chair on fire. And Mo sits on the ground, a defeated man.
At public events where, if given the choice, I would start the unopened chair on fire rather than have someone sit next to me. I know that feeling, but Jesus Christ, it's Mo. He can't. What's he?
Come on, he ain't hurting anybody.
Well, from what we can pick up from Apu's wife in the previous episode. What is when Apu suggests that she was going to run off with him? It's like, what, do you think I'm blind and noseless? So apparently Mo smells. Jeez, Mo gets fucking dunked on a lot.
Yeah, he does.
I just like sitting in the aisle, like where people are walking.
Yeah, just sits on the ground.
I remember we maybe discussed this. If you were unlucky and you rode a really busy bus route when I was a kid, because I was one of those kids, oftentimes you'd have to just sit on the bus steps. How dangerous is that if you get in an accident? I mean, a bus ain't safe regardless, but Jesus.
Those buses, it's insane they let us ride those.
Yeah.
Like, just a empty tin tube full of metal seats.
With a middle-aged farmer who's already on the edge, like getting in a screaming match with a banker earlier in the day. Now we think he's thinking about you. Gonna lose his 5-generation family farm.
No seatbelts anywhere to be seen. My school bus was run on propane, had one heater way in the back. It wasn't even warm by the time you got to school, and it was an hour-long ride.
Yeah, so I lucked out. It had been running for quite a while by the time I got picked up. But some cold winter days, it never would completely de-thaw. So it was just an ice tomb, except the windshield would stay mercifully clear. The rest of that bus was just a tomb,
It's a miracle that there aren't more bus crashes.
We had a bus hit the ditch and flip upside down and do all sorts of shit.
Oh, shit.
Because my friend, he was in the second to front, because the old kid's always in the back, young kid's up front, He said, I remember when we hit the ditch, things are going pretty wild. Next thing I know, I am laying the ceiling of the bus against the emergency door in the back. That's how bad they rolled it. And he broke his arm. He was the one kid shockingly was the only kid that had to go get a cast. But
everyone else just dust themselves
fucking
off.
roll the bus over the edge of a fucking 30-foot drop off and fucking hit a bunch of trees. But I think the trees slowed him down enough, probably.
Jesus.
Yeah, he says, I remember someone running up and opening that emergency door, and I just crawled out and realized my arm was all fucked up.
Man.
That's wild. Imagine witnessing that.
Can you imagine being that bus driver and feeling it start to go wrong? Just
fuck.
No.
Yeah. Oh my God, our bus driver too. There were so many times when we'd get a call on the home phone, hey, it'd be the school office. Hey, Lloyd buried the bus, so we're gonna send another bus. So you go stay inside for an extra 10 minutes. We'll be there eventually. Fuck, what a thankless job. And the only reason any of them did it was for health insurance.
Yep.
That was always the carrot held in front of a bus driver's face.
Or some amount of supplemental income for the farm. Yeah.
You want to go to the dentist, huh?
You want to fix them up your luxury bones?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
You drive these shitty kids around.
They're going to scream the whole time in this echo chamber.
Towards the end, my bus driver had to There was at a point where there were 8 kids on that bus. all pretty spaced out. Everyone had, you'd have 2 seats to yourself. That's pretty nice.
Look at that.
Because all of the older kids, I was one of them, you would have your torso in one and your legs in the other.
Yep.
Or have your feet up at least. You'd be able to sleep. It was pretty great.
I've had many a bus naps that way in my youth. Feeder bus or a real bus?
What was the first term you said?
Feeder bus.
I don't even know what a feeder bus is.
Feeder bus was like usually a smaller bus that would like run a route that would be in an area but then meet up with the bigger bus. So the feeder bus doesn't go all the way to school.
Oh,
the feeder
interesting.
bus just picks up like, these 8 families that live down in this corner of the county, and then meet you on the main road, and they get into the other bus.
Oh, no.
To take
we
them
had all
down.
full. The short buses were just used for like a school trip.
Oh, okay.
It was,
Yeah, we had feeder buses.
Oh, no, never thought of that because you're so sparsely populated out there. You'd be that bus driver would be on the road for 6 hours, getting propane dropped off by parachute. Set off another flare. Kids, get out of the drop zone.
Look out! There's a colored smoke grenade spewing green smoke at the LZ.
He's got a sharpened broom handle to keep the raiders away from the fresh propane. He can speak their dialect. Okay, kids, we have to give them some lunches.
Bus broke down. Kids are gonna have to take the horses to school. So we're at this ugly dog contest. Mo's sitting in the grass like an animal. Poor Mo. Krusty is the judge, and he's spitting some real hack shit. Some real fuck. I love the jokes that we get out of Krusty. Like, we get it so often that I almost don't see it anymore, but I noticed it here. Maybe it's because he gets heckled, but it's just like, man, the fucking tired ass
ex-wife,
early 1950s fucking humor that Krusty is always spitting, I really like. It's such garbage.
Yeah.
And this is 2010. No one knows what he's referencing anymore. He's referencing shit from 60 fucking years ago.
How old is Krusty?
Yeah.
His father's alive?
Yep. I love that kind of shit where it's like no one even knows who he's referencing anymore. Nobody knows that Quimby is JFK, that voice. Like, I like that the show's gone on so long that it's core. There are like core things about core characters that are so dated that no one even realizes it's references anymore. So Mo heckles Krusty's bad jokes. Krusty says, "Fuck it, you do it," and gets off the stage. And Mo is killing it. Mo has some good zingers at the expense of some of these dogs. And Santa's Little Helper wins, and everybody loves Mo because he's so funny and mean. Then we're back at the bar, and Mo is going to close the bar because he has to go judge a crazy beard contest. He's getting some infamy or some manner of recognition on, hey, come be a mean judge at this thing. He does the crazy beard contest. He judges a car contest, a fucking bullying contest where Dolph, Jimbo, and Kearney all destroy these sandcastles and Dolph wins. Meanwhile, since Mo's is closed, Homer is at home all the time now, and this is the B story of Marge trying to adjust to having Homer home all the time, which she's not the biggest fan of.
She's realizing that it sucks.
Yeah, she's for it immediately, like, oh, we'll have Homer around all the time, and then turns out she doesn't like that. Meanwhile, Mo gets approached by some type of fancy LA man who works for Fox Television and recruits Mo to be flown to LA to be on American Idol.
During that scene, there's a good spot where he's rattling off all the all the reality shows that
need a judge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, I love, are you fatter than a 5th grader? Like, what would be the premise of that
That's
show?
very funny.
Bottom chef.
And then he's like, those have all been canceled. He like answers the phone. What's that? Oh, okay. They've all been canceled.
He rattled off like 18 shows.
Yeah. It was at this point I was like, oh, maybe we're going to get some good shots in at Fox. And we get a few, but not a ton.
Yeah.
Not as many as I would have liked. So Mo gets flown to L.A. to be a judge on American Idol, and I love when he's in the limousine, he's like, hey, you got a song about California or Los Angeles or anything? Because that's always what happens on the show. He's like, no, but here's one about Alabama. So you get Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner playing while Mo like takes in the sights of L.A., which I thought was a really fun joke. Meanwhile, back in Springfield, Marge takes Homer to a sports bar and gets rid of him, throws him out at this sports bar. And Homer very quickly ends up back at home because it turns out he doesn't know enough about sports to be at a sports bar.
Yeah, he gets intimidated.
Yeah. He like wanders up to that one TV that guy's watching, just like, watching hockey, huh? Really? Watch him pass the old puck around. And the guy's just like, it's lacrosse, idiot.
Yeah. They're not even on ice.
Like, the idea that you could mistake those two sports is very funny. We get Mo hanging out with Simon Cowell. Do you think this feels late to me that we would be... I feel like Simon Cowell's fame star had faded by this point.
This episode gets real dull around this point.
Yeah. By this point, wasn't Gordon Ramsay already the mean host guy of things?
Had to have been, yeah.
Like, I feel like, oh, that's Simon Cowell. He's so mean is like a 2004 thing.
Yep. We're in season 9 or 10, I bet, of American Idol.
This feels late to the game. This also feels, which I know is one of your things, this feels like a celebrities for the sake of it episode. But he's hanging out with Simon. Back at home, Homer gets back from the sports bar, and Abe suggests to Marge that she get Homer into golf, because that'll get rid of him. But also kind of warns him of, like, you might not get him back. Yeah. Because golf just claims
people
men.
Get into golf, man. Like, I have
you
friends.
Like playing golf?
Never once have been in a golf course my entire life.
What?
Nope.
You should try it.
Grew up... As the crow flies, grew up 500 yards from a golf course, never one step foot.
Unbelievable.
Part of
it, a golf course?
What's that? Yeah, nice. 2. Actually, the other one might have closed.
Fucking bougie.
Yeah. One thing though, being a lefty, it's tough to just casually play golf because oftentimes, especially when you're a tall lefty, those are clubs that aren't just laying around. You know, I can't
not getting those at garage
right.
sales.
Yeah, I can't borrow a friend's clubs if that makes sense. Yeah.
It would be fun to take you to the spot in town that does like customized shaft lengths and stuff and be like, how much would it cost to get him a set of clubs all cut to his size? You're what, 6'2"?
6'2"-ish, yep.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, short arms, long body. That's
all torso.
Just a little under $8,000. Here we go. Get you in. Introductory level. You're eventually going to upgrade. These are beginners clubs.
That'd be fun. Like, I'm fucking horrible at golf, but I can enjoy myself for one 9-hole round of golf. After that, I get crabby because I'm doing so poorly and I'm no fun to be around. But one 9-hole round.
I think Frisbee golf scratches that itch enough for me that I don't need to make the jump. I enjoy Frisbee golf.
Yeah.
And I suck at Frisbee golf, but it's not enough of a hassle where I'm not enjoying myself. It's like, I'm bad at this, but we're all out here having fun.
I've never played Frisbee golf.
Oh, no shit.
Not once.
No shit.
Like, I've thrown a Frisbee.
You are within, you can see a Frisbee golf course.
I can see, like, the Frisbee golf course in town is literally across the street.
No shit. Yeah, it's fun.
Never been. I should try it. Simon warns Mo not to be nasty and mean, and Simon knows this because Simon is the mean, nasty one, and he has no friends. Yeah. So he's looking out for Mo. So now we go to American Idol, and these people all play themselves, but I don't watch the show, so none of this, I don't get any of these jokes.
Yeah.
Mo is nice on American Idol because that's what Simon suggested he do, and then Simon is shitty. And Mo's like, what the fuck? You told me not to do shit like that. And Simon, to his credit, is just like, why would I ever sabotage you, someone who does exactly what I do for a tenth of my asking price or whatever.
48 million less.
Yeah, which is very funny.
Yeah.
So Simon sabotaged Mo, who gets dragged off. Back home, Homer is about to swing his club for the first time, and there's an old man talking to Marge about how, like, oh yeah, it only took me one swing, and I was hooked for life. I should be at my daughter's wedding right now.
Heard he's a nice man.
Yeah, nice man, from what I hear anyway.
That's a good line.
That's a fun little scene. Marge jumps in, prevents Homer from swinging, and is like, you can do that in 40 years or something, is what she tells them. They drive off. And then we're just back at Moe's. We wrap up at Moe's with a couple of quick jokes. Mo is back and done being a mean judge.
Yeah. There's a good scene where drunk Barney, he's like, am I good enough to drive? I legally can't tell you that. He's like, to a drunk, that's as good as a yes. And he just goes and sits on the toilet, buckles his toilet paper seatbelt, and thinks he's driving home. Christ, did I laugh. But
how drunk do you have to be to mistake the toilet for your car?
Another earlier gag that I enjoy, I don't know where they're at, but we see a copy of the Weekly World News, and it says, Bat Boy accurately predicts the Final Four. And I got a kick out of that. I doubt the answer is yes, but was Weekly World News a part of your childhood at all?
No, not at all.
Does a reference mean anything?
I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
And I know who Bat Boy is, or, you know.
What a sentence.
Like,
listen, I know who Bat Boy is. I'm not some rube.
Listen, I've definitely seen that screaming face photo.
Oh, I loved stumbling onto a Weekly World News when I was a kid.
I don't know that I've ever seen one in person.
Yeah, they've been off I think they were about a dozen years ago. They finally quit printing them out.
Like, I remember being a kid, and it must have been more prevalent then. People being like I feel like that was a time when the tabloids weren't celebrity obsessed yet, so it was just bonkers shit. Somebody ran into Elvis in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Bat Boy. Someone got abducted by aliens.
There were two different, because the celebrity ones did exist, but there were two different avenues. Because you had like Weekly World News, you had the Sun. The Sun would mix the two. It would be a combination. Their celebrity stories would be outright fabrications, and then it'd be also like how many of your relatives are currently living in space? You know, like this psychic will tell you. And then you had shit like the Inquirer, which would be all celebrity stuff.
Okay,
yep, that was. Looking back, like my grandma, I think she had a. She never bought them, but once a month she'd get a paper sack full of tabloids.
Yeah.
I was like, my grandmother probably hadn't been to a movie in 35 years, never watched a full movie, but yet would read about the exploits of movie stars. That was what an interesting thing. Like,
did they, like, having never picked one of those magazines up, do they have some manner of disclaimer in fine print somewhere that says, like, for entertainment purposes only? Like, how do they not get sued constantly?
I think the way they word it, like heard from a close friend,
allegedly. You can say anything after you say allegedly.
Yep. Often it would always be a source tells us. So it's like, like Bruce Willis is down in the dumps now that Demi Moore's moved on with Ashton Kutcher. A close family friend tells National Enquirer.
Sure.
That's how they always.
But they're really just making shit up.
That has to be the way they make it work legally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Trumpian. Some people are saying I got the biggest dick you've ever seen. Are they?
Yeah, are they though? Yeah.
Show me these people.
Are these your kids, you fucking weirdo?
That daughter you want to plow so fucking bad?
We're now bursting through the walls of season 22. Look at that, just into the 20s now, old enough to drink. We're adults. We're failing out of college. We're 22. This is getting to be this is not quite the same. Lately, it's been, wash, rinse, repeat, Family Guy, King of the Hill, but King Hill gone now. You know what did debut this year? A little thing called Bob's Burgers.
I love Bob's Burgers.
So it's still on the air. We're into like season 13 of Bob's Burgers.
When we were covering season 1 at the start of this show, I was a child.
Yep.
A legitimate child, and now we've reached a point in the show where Bob's Burgers is on the air.
So that means Bob's Burgers is one of the longest running primetime television programs of our lifetimes. Does it seem like it's been that long, Marlon?
No, to me, Bob's Burgers is a new show.
Yep, right? Yeah.
Holy shit, what is happening right now?
Our bodies are betraying us, or our brains are turning to mush.
Bob's Burgers is a legit outstanding television show.
Yeah, very good. Pretty quiet year as far as like new TV besides Bob's Burgers. The only other show of note I could find is Mike and Molly, and I think that's only really notable because it has Melissa McCarthy. That was her.
Is that where she started?
That was her first big.
I've never seen it.
And it was one of those things which doesn't happen often. Maybe SNL kind of a couple times, but like where it's stuck around a year or two after one of the principal stars became a movie star.
Okay.
There are other examples of that. I can't quite think of it now. Maybe George Clooney on ER.
Sure.
But I even think he left pretty quick.
Movie star is a strong phrase, but that 70s show kept going after
Ashton Kutcher kind of popped.
Yeah, and the other one, Eric, the skinny kid. Topher Grace, yep.
And I think Topher left before the final season. I'm pretty sure Ashton Kutcher was there for every season.
I think he stuck it out,
Yeah,
yep. Those last couple seasons of that 70s show are not great.
Yeah. Once
like Laura Prepon dyes her hair blonde, it's like, nah.
Yeah, it's all over now. The one thing about this upcoming season, so this season would be the fall of 2010 into spring of 2011, if you want to picture in your mind's eye where we're at historically. The one thing, we didn't get a lot of notable news shows. We had a lot of notable departures. Like, this was the first year in a long time we hadn't had Scrubs on the air. So Scrubs has already been off the air for a dozen years.
Jesus.
Wild. Lost, because as we noticed, they were having the season finale of Lost at the end of last season of The Simpsons. Cold Case, which shouldn't be worth mentioning, but it's one of those insane CBS procedural cop shows that ran for 13 fucking years.
Oh my God.
How is that possible? 24 was off the air.
I've always heard that's very good, and I've never seen it.
I've heard it's like compelling, like it sinks its claws.
TV.
Yep. And after 21 years, Law and Order was no longer on the air. In 2010 or 11.
I'm sure I would have had to have just via osmosis, but I don't think I've ever seen that show. I've definitely never sat down and intently watched an episode.
You dug into my hard drive and did a thorough inspection, I bet just by pure, because it's been on for so long, I was on rerun, I bet I've seen 25 episodes of Law and Order. Just 1/10 of the episodes made, but I bet I have. My mom likes shit like that, so I probably just was in the living room and it was just, I'm now watching this, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're bringing that show back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 21 seasons wasn't enough. America hungers.
And SVU's been on probably that many seasons by now, too.
Yeah. I think they started in 99.
Ice-T has been a cop longer than he was a rapper who sang Cop Killer.
Far longer at this point. Yeah. So that was, let me check my notes. That's about all we had for excitement as on television. We got Law and Order coming back. Exciting times. Where you at in your life? Fall of 2010.
I'm at the end of my radio career, but don't really know it yet. I am working by Christmas of 2010. I'm no longer in radio and I'm working full time at the strip club, being a strip club DJ. I think my first day was like the day after Christmas, after getting fired from radio. So, that's probably about it. So, I mean, that's new and exciting. A new job that pays fucking 25 times what radio did. So, yeah, it's that'll be exciting.
Since radio's over the airwaves, not like, isn't ground-based, they found a way to pay you like Malaysian minimum wage.
Right, yeah.
I can't even spend these coins.
I worked for tips, but we don't have customers.
Yeah, it's a coconut on this dollar bill.
Oh, fuck. Radio paid horribly.
It's such a robust medium. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I think this is right on the time I was really getting into grad school. I was taking classes and buckling down.
Yeah,
trying
really
to
going to get it done.
Yep. Knock these classes out so you ain't got to worry about it anymore. Having a lot of fun. Had a lot of good friends in grad school. It was a good time of my life.
Here in town?
Yep.
In Fargo?
Yep. A good time of my life. Now that I look back at it, 2010, good year.
I think, by 2010 itself, like as radio was winding down, I wasn't in a good spot. Most of the friends I had made in radio had moved on or been let go, and the new people were no good, and like also they had that like new manager attitude of wanting to clear out all the old guard, which is what they did.
Yeah.
And build their own thing. So 2011 was much better than 2010.
And one thing with a low-paying job, your coworkers are everything.
Yep.
You can stomach a low-paying job if you're having fun, but if you're not, it's like, holy fuck. Mm-hmm. There are other jobs that pay $11 an hour.
Oh, this paid $9.
Yeah. you were
$9 an hour to have literally thousands of people hear your voice and still be expected to put on this rock star persona when you're in public.
So insane.
Oh, yeah. It was fucking horrible.
Hey, could you stop ordering off the dollar menu? Just get combos. People are talking, bro. You're Oswald the Moose. Whatever. You're never going to wear the fake horns, bro? Just
No, I'm going to go home and try desperately not to hang myself.
The horns don't fit in my Ford Festiva, which I live in. You driving around in a subcompact with giant foam antlers on. Can't see anything out of my mirrors.
In 2010, I'm still driving a 1991 Ford Explorer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Gray and red with red interior.
Ooh, Eddie Bauer edition?
No. No.
Eddie Haskell and shit. It's just a picture of Eddie Haskell shrugging his shoulders with a "it'll work" voice balloon.
That Explorer got me through a lot of years. I bought that in 2003, and I was still driving it in 2010.
That's a good sign, yeah.
When it was fucking near 20 years old.
On that note, we're getting towards the twilight of my Pontiac Bonneville. I bought that.
Oh, no, not the Bonneville.
I'm wrong. I bought that that went a lot longer than I'm thinking. And we got about 3 seasons before I can give a fitting tribute to the Bonneville. I think I drove it 10 and a half years. That's a run for a used car.
It would be the summer of 2011, so coming up here, where I forget precisely what it was, but something was off with my vehicle, with my Explorer, and I took it in, and they, within like half an hour, kicked me back out, and then the guy goes, "Sell this car," before somebody realizes what's going on. And I went and bought a different vehicle that day.
A vehicle.
A 2005 Ford Expedition.
You are all about the big Ford SUVs.
I was a big SUV boy back then, yeah. And
then would you follow some sleek? Something
after
small?
that?
Yeah.
After the Expedition was 2016 Chrysler 200.
Oh, I remember that car.
Yeah, that black car, yeah.
So you probably haven't owned all that many vehicles in your adult life.
No, not a whole bunch.
I'm kind of the same way, too. You have a car that lasts a decade, it eats up a lot of your driving years.
Yeah. I'm also that way with jobs. I've had way less jobs than most people because I spent 11 years at 2 of them.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, I had one job for over 12.
Yeah.
But then I also had 12 jobs between the ages of 16 and 20.
Yeah, that each lasted 8 weeks.
Yeah. It's a rambling boy.
That's my favorite Allman Brothers song for sure.
So we're into season 22. Episode 1 of season 22 is Elementary School Musical. Episode begins with Homer finding Lisa and the nerds. They're up at 4 a.m. and Homer's kind of baffled why these kids that aren't his are on his couch. Can you think of who it's Martin and then Specs or whatever his name is?
Database, you mean?
Database, yep.
Yep.
And who else would be there? There was a fourth.
Yeah, I don't remember which it was, though.
And I also like just Maggie sitting there in her diaper.
Yep, also Maggie.
Yeah. And Homer's like, what are you guys doing? And they're all excited because they're announcing at the Nobel Prize announcements at 4 a.m. So Homer just sits down with them. And to everyone's shock, Krusty the Clown wins a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. You ever, fuck up your sleep schedule for a day to watch something on television?
Oh, God. My sleep schedule's so chaotic, it's hard to...
Oh, yeah, I forget who I'm talking to.
Right? But I'm trying to think of an example of when that would have been. See, for me, it's more of a thing to wake up early.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like get up at 6 a.m. for concert tickets. Like, what? That's gross.
Yeah. Like, my alarm goes off at 8 a.m. every day, and I don't have anything to get up for, really.
That's wild.
So, like, I keep a normal sleep schedule for the sake of not going insane. But, like, a couple buddies and I, during, was it the 2008 Beijing Summer Games?
Yeah.
Would get up and watch Dream Team NBA Olympic basketball.
Oh, really?
Because Olympic basketball in the Summer Games is so much fun to watch because it's like watching them. It's NBA players playing against children.
So 08 they were back to being good again?
It was the year that had Anthony Davis when he was in between college and his rookie year. So I think that was 08. Might have been 12.
It might have been 12.
But yeah, we watched, and yes, they were great that year.
Was it 04 or 2000 when they didn't gold?
Yeah, they didn't gold.
They might not even medal. They might have just, because once they lost in the semifinals, they were all frumpy, and they didn't even bother giving a shit for the bronze. They took fourth that year, I think.
Yeah.
What a fucking black eye for
no kidding.
Right? Jesus.
I've always liked watching NBA players play Olympic basketball because it's not fair. Like, it's... But you also get other like NBA players playing for their home countries. Like Tony Parker played for France and all that. Like it made for super entertaining basketball, and we would get up at like 3:30 in the morning to watch the games live.
No shit.
Yeah, because we had satellite television, and there was like, during the Olympics, there's like 40 channels that are just running a live Olympics. And we would get up and we'd make a big breakfast and start drinking at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, that was a fun Summer Games. I've never had a more fun Olympics experience than the 2012 Summer Games.
God, yeah. I remember when LeBron got around to being like Olympics age, he got really rah about it, and he convinced all the other players to get real.
He was in that era.
They had a fucking year they didn't even medal, which all NBA players too. Just a bad. It didn't mesh. Nothing,
bad attitudes.
Yeah, wasn't a good So now if you look, sure, the top 6 or 7 guys are stars, but the rest are role players. They realize just grabbing the 12 guys with the best stats and throwing them doesn't get the job done. They can't just overpower a fucking Angola team that no one's taller than 5'10" on. I always remember the Angola in the 92 with the original Dream Team with like Barkley and Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. The Angola players were like talking down to the black NBA players.
Oh,
like almost like a racial thing.
Oh,
like, you as almost like you guys are our little cousins. Good for you. You're doing good. As if they're better than them or something. So like Charles Barkley's like, we fucking took a lot of anger. You watch that, and they won by like 70. Like those numbers don't even make sense. Like they're just like playing way more aggressive D than they did against any other team because like they would just lay off after a while. So Krusty the Clown apparently has won a Nobel Peace Prize. And they have downtown, they have an acceptance speech where Krusty meets in front of the media, tells some of his very hackneyed jokes, which Homer just adores, laughing his ass off because Homer's an easy mark. And after Krusty notices how fucking much of a laugher Homer is, and he decides to bring Homer and Bart to Oslo, Norway, just so he can be sure that when he has his press junket for accepting the award, that Homer will be there to laugh heartily at his jokes. Yeah. Which, I don't know, I'm with it. Okay.
Sure, bring Homer along.
Why not?
You know, you could have contrived worse reasons to bring Homer along.
We've had more cockamamie. That's not racial, is it? Am I going to get in trouble for saying cockamamie?
No,
yeah, okay.
I think cockamamie's fine.
Safe again.
As far as I know.
Yeah. So now we're
both in trouble.
Yeah, now we're going down swinging.
One for all for one. Real fucking Dante. Nope,
Donatello.
No.
Ninja Turtle. Yeah. Raphael.
D'Artagnan. There we go. God damn it.
So Lisa is rightfully bummed about this. Is like, hey, goddamn, the Nobel Prize awards are my thing. You're going to bring Bart? And it's like, because Bart's older and he's a boy. And now Lisa's got that sad middle kid blues, which neither you or I can relate to.
No.
Because there was no middle kid in my family either.
Yep, I'm an only and you're just a pair.
Yep, so, and I bet there is something about being the middle kid.
There's no way that there's not, just based on the amount of times you've heard it said that the middle kid is the neglected one.
Exactly. There has to be something to that. My first worries was, Jesus Christ, is this The Simpsons Go to Norway? But no, you can quickly tell there's a Lisa story coming too.
Almost the A story.
Becomes it. Yeah. Damn right it does. Yeah, becomes it. And she gets in the car and she's like, well, I guess we're just, Bart gets to go to Norway. You're going to give me ice cream or whatever. And Marge, goddamn MVP mom work here, keeps under wraps and brings her out in the country and drops her off at, I think it would be like performing arts camp.
Yep.
And Lisa's over the moon. And she's like, well, what about my saxophone? And fucking Marge brought it because Marge is the bomb.
Killing it.
Yeah. And she looks in the back and there's kind of a nonplussed Maggie. And it's like, I didn't forget about you. And Maggie gets a new pacifier.
Yeah. And I love that she has like a ritual to it. She excitedly takes the pacifier, takes a cigar cutter out of her onesie and snips the end and puts the pacifier in.
As a fresh pacifier.
That's fun.
That was a good visual. So now Lisa's at a camp. They kind of like, it's all what you can imagine, just something that Lisa would love. It's like, just embrace your creative side.
Super artsy, full of theater kids.
Yeah, counselors and campers alike. She's amongst kindred spirits. Get a huge musical number, which did nothing for me.
We get a few musical numbers in this episode.
None of them do anything for me. This first one was really High School Musical, Glee type, like very high energy. And that's when we get the Flight of the Conchords guys become a pretty big part of the storyline.
Yeah, they show up as the camp counselors.
Never got into them at all?
Never have, and have always thought I should.
Yep, the TV, I saw their HBO show. That's fine.
Yeah
it's got some good laugh. Worth seeing.
I'm not a huge fan of musical comedy outside of like Tenacious D, but I do like those guys. Like, I've seen them outside of Flight of the Conchords, and I always like them.
Yep.
Especially the one without the goatee, the one with the long sideburns at this time. I like him. I also adore the New Zealand accent. So like I'm extra on board. It's like South African fucked Australian and you get New Zealand.
Yeah, you're right. They do have a distinct accent, don't they?
I always really like the New Zealand accent. Are they also the What We Do in the Shadows guys?
One of them has, I don't know if the creative forces behind it, but the dude with the sideburns played a very big role in the movie.
Okay. I've heard that movie is good and that show is extremely good.
The movie's insanely good, and I did not assume I would like it.
Apparently the show is the best shit ever.
It's so good.
I need to watch it.
There's so much good TV.
There's too much good TV.
Quit making so much good TV. Slow down.
I started rewatching Shameless.
Never seen.
It's great. I love that show. It's truly despicable people, like in Almost Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but somehow worse.
Yeah.
It's like they're even worse. William H. Macy's the worst person ever.
He's like
and
the
he's
dad.
great in that role. There's fucking 12 seasons of that goddamn show. And I started at season 1 last week.
Oh, wow.
This is my life now, I guess.
Just plowing through watching.
I'm never going to finish that Dragon Ball Z watch through that I started 3 months ago.
Just watching reruns.
I got stuff to do. Yeah. No, I don't. I have all.
This is what I'm here for.
Right.
This is what God put me on this earth for.
To give me a reason to leave my home.
Consume content.
Marlon, scrape off the barnacles. We got to tell jokes.
Got a stick I poke you with out of your TV cocoon.
Like the fucking gimp in Pulp Fiction. You just let me out of the chest every so often.
I can smell the sour milk from under the door. That boy's been eating cereal. Just one more bowl.
You got to learn not to spill so much.
So Lisa's having the time of her life, and just like that, the week is up. And now Marge just picked her up. She's on her way back to Springfield, and Lisa is bummed because she loved it so much at that camp. And she just struggles. They get back to Springfield, and she just struggles to kind of readjust to more mundane suburban life like she was living in Springfield. And it's around this time Krusty's plane is landing in what they think is Oslo, but they get out. It turns out they're in The Hague. That'd be the Netherlands, I believe.
I believe so.
Because Krusty is under arrest for a variety of crimes against humanity throughout the entire continent of Europe. And I think one of them was what did he drop off the Eiffel Tower? Is it a cat or a dog or a monkey?
Something like that. I don't remember.
That could kill that animal.
Oh, yeah.
So he's brought up in front of The Hague, was that the International Tribunal or whatever they call it for war crimes?
Yeah.
And the only way he can get out of prison is to prove that at any time he has once positively influenced Western culture.
Yeah, that's funny. This is a funny premise, I think.
This is a man that's been on television for half a century.
Yeah.
And they have so struggling to find him ever once doing anything good, which is so good.
That you've contributed to Western culture.
Oh, man. There is coming up a scene where Bart is panicked because he realized, oh, man, this is going to be harder than we thought. He's just looking at Krusty the Clown's YouTube things. There's one where it's Krusty confesses self-mutilation on the match game, which is just him holding up a hand missing 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I laughed at that.
That was a fun bit of them going through his YouTube thumbnails, and they're all horrible.
So, flashback to the Simpsons home. Lisa is fed up with her boring home life, is ready to run away to New York City. That's what she does, pulling out a page out of Bart's book by climbing out the window onto the tree. It's just a scene where she's climbing down and she sees Maggie's bedroom, and Maggie's up against the glass, all happy to see Lisa. And Lisa's like, "Oh, I'll come back for you. Someday we'll be famous like the Bronte sisters." And fucking Maggie has a fucking piece of paper with Brontosaurus on it, and she's excited about that. She's like, "I'll get back to you when you're 2, or don't ever turn 2.
Don't ever turn 2. Yeah. Who the fuck are the Bronte sisters?
They were authors from Charlotte and Emily Bronte. There's a third too, Anne Bronte. Trying to think what they're best known for. They wrote The Green Wallpaper. That's a short story. One of them, they are varying levels of success, to which I always think is funny. 2 of them are considered titans of 19th century literature, and one wrote a book of fucking knock-knock jokes or something like that.
The Cooper Manning of the Bronte sisters.
So Lisa's ran off, and she's going to go try to make a name for herself in the bright lights and big cities bright lights in New York City, because that's also part of what I kind of skimmed over. They really sell being an artist in this camp. It's such a noble life, and there's so much fame and riches to be had, and she's all excited.
We're so important societally. We get so much respect.
How could you stay in Springfield when you have so much to give to the greater?
Yeah.
And so she gets to New York City. It's at a
it's still Springfield. It's Brooklyn.
Is that what they're going for?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That Springfield is so big it has burgs.
Oh, my God.
And the artist district is Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Also, this is 2010. I didn't realize Brooklyn had this nomenclature to it in
The
2010
hipster-ish.
already.
Yeah.
Because Brooklyn has like two definitive time periods. You have in the 80s when Biggie was selling crack there, and you have now where that's where all the hipsters live, and there's fucking gourmet mayonnaise shops or whatever. And I've never been sure when that turn happened, but apparently at least 2010.
Yep. I'd say it started in the late 90s when what's his name became mayor, and they cleaned up. There's a 3 cops on every corner.
Oh, okay.
So sometime around the 90s, that's when it turned, and then they all started moving there in the early aughts, and now here we are, where an efficiency apartment costs you $4,000 a month.
Good stuff.
Perfect.
Wyatt Cenac talks about that on one of his specials, Brooklyn, where he talks about how like you just didn't want to live anywhere that ended up in a Biggie lyric. He's like, and he mentions this one neighborhood that Biggie talks about in a song, and that's where his grandma lived, and how fucking awful it was.
That's
and
awesome.
Now there's an artisanal mayonnaise shop there. That's special. Wyatt Cenac's Brooklyn is outstanding, and people should watch it.
Well, now we got some homework.
Boom.
There we go. Put it on the list. So, again, getting back to the other story, Bart and Homer are struggling, and now they're back in front of the tribunal, and it's basically coming down to, you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. And that's when the 11th hour, Bart and Homer burst into the courtroom, and they have video footage of Krusty performing in Sun City, South Africa. Is it 1990 or 1989? And he's got this prima donna attitude. There's some reason he won't perform. I don't know what it is, but it has nothing to do with current events or apartheid or anything like that. But he just refuses. So Sun City, because that was a thing in the 80s. That's how they helped get the awareness going, is the major artists refused to play Sun City.
Yeah.
And that was because I think there was even a song called like, I ain't gonna play Sun City. Like it was like We Are the World.
This feels like a song you just made
right?
up. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to make a fundraiser right now.
Like, I believe you because you're my friend, but everyone else is just like, that's not a real song.
Car issues I need to get paid for.
I'm not gonna play Sun City. That sounds like something you just made up.
I swear to God, it's real.
But it was the Live Aid.
Very fun.
South Africa.
Because there were like 4 or 5 attempts at getting We Are the World type numbers. It didn't happen. I'm trying to think of, there are a handful of like, we got a bunch of stars together to sing a song, and one was about Christmas. Do they know it's Christmas? Singing about like kids in Africa eating fucking cactuses or whatever, because there ain't no fucking, there ain't no peanut brittle in fucking South Sudan. You know, like, do they
That's
know
a T-shirt. Ain't no peanut brittle in South Sudan,
baby?
Holy shit!
You say it like it's like it has a second meaning.
It sounds like that sounds like a Dusty Rhodes promo.
You're out here trying to sell me South Sudanese peanut brittle. Let me tell you, brother.
That for real sounds like a Ric Flair line from 1987. Ain't no peanut brittle in South Sudan, baby.
We're out here cutting promos.
Holy shit. Someday I'm going to get that Redbubble store up and going, and we're going to have so many T-shirts for people.
And then just by pure coincidence, Nelson Mandela was freed from prison 3 days after Krusty refused to play Sun City. And they're like, well, you can't say he wasn't part of the reason that happened. So they're like, fuck it. Guess Krusty doesn't have to spend the rest of his day in an international prison cell.
Fucking Hague.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, next to Nazi war criminals, next to like Slobodan Milosevic or whatever that guy and fucking And then the other story, so Lisa.
Sweet Slobodan Milosevic reference, by the way.
We're dropping all sorts of science.
My ass.
What
I haven't
a
heard
podcast.
that name in a long time.
This is free. You can listen to this for free. The things we bring you. So Lisa,
what a time to be alive.
Right? Yeah. The world is blossoming in front of us. History's happening every day. Lisa, she has a list of all of like the camp counselors' addresses and goes to this one very dicey looking brownstone apartment, goes in, and it's a fucking pigsty. There's like no heat. There's no nothing. And then it turns out that the 2 camp counselors that she was so infatuated with that were singing the praises of art are Subway sandwich artists.
Yeah.
And they're talking about like, oh, look at these tomato slices I found on the floor. They're like eagerly looking forward to eating floor tomatoes.
He's so happy and so proud that he managed to sneak these 2 tomato slices in a napkin from work.
It's hard to make. It's a hard city to make it in.
Yeah, I would have to literally be starving to death to eat a tomato slice.
Oh man, I could fucking.
You would have to put a gun to my balls get me to eat a tomato slice.
Eat a tomato like an apple in front of you right now.
Oh, God.
1, I would like it. 2, I'd like your reaction.
What's the opposite of an erection? Because that's what just happened.
I mean, you shouldn't be getting food boners anymore.
Everything retreated.
We've discussed this. The doctor says stop associating food with sex.
I like that flashes in my head an image of you and I together at my doctor.
Yeah.
like we're a couple getting bad news.
You tell it to me, Doc, and I'll explain it to him in terms he'll understand.
See, this is what he's like.
Yeah. So Lisa sees how they live, and we get another music moment where they sing a song about how irrelevant artists are.
Yeah, and they fly. They do the Flight of the Conchords thing where they fly in the Christ pose.
Yeah, because they put a sign up on the wall as a nice thing for Lisa, and Lisa's happy to see that because she's real downtrodden after she saw how they lived, and it's like, oh man, is this what my future holds? And then I'm trying to think how Marge even finds out she's there.
I don't know either, now that I think about it. But she does show up to take her away. I think
Lisa has a chance to call her because she wants out of there because of how dingy it is. Yep. And Marge picks her up. They head back, and all is well.
Yeah, and they made her a nice mural on the side of the wall. I like that they also kind of like fourth wall a little bit because when they're up on the roof with the paint rollers after painting that big mural, the one turns to the other's like, how do we get here? Weren't we just back there? Yeah. Like, and I don't know, maybe that's Flight of the Conchords humor. Yeah. I don't know if that matches up to the show at all. I should watch that show.
Yep. You'd enjoy it. And it's a quick watch. I think it's 1 or maybe 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I got to watch it. It's too much to watch.
Yeah, so much programming.
I can't do it. I can't join the neighborhood watch. I got too much television.
We need to get 3 network channels of PBS again. That's when America was great.
NBC, CBS, and PBS.
Yeah. Oh, ABC. We'll church it up enough.
We didn't have ABC.
Yeah, man. You lived on the moon. You gotta remember. The rest of the English-speaking world was watching ABC.
All I need is Wishbone and American Gladiators.
Oh shit, dude! A buddy of mine's younger brother got a Wishbone tattoo.
No
shit. It's the logo with the dog and the bone, and it says Wishbone and everything.
That's amazing. Yeah. Good for them.
The bar has been set higher for your next tattoo idea.
Oh, don't test me. I have it in the chamber already.
Oh, really? Ghost Rider.
I haven't no. I could get the Ghost Rider logo, but no. I'll tell you off the air. But it's already percolating.
Thomas the Tank Engine face on your lower abdomen.
I was never.
Wait till you see his friend.
I was never a Thomas the Tank Engine guy.
Showtime Station?
Nah.
Yeah.
Wasn't for me. My cousin was super into it. He was much more of a Tonka trucks and trains kind of kid. I was a Ninja Turtles kid. It wouldn't be an original idea, but I did see online someone had gotten Krang tattooed on their lower abdomen in such a way that it makes them look like the big robot.
The big baby robot thing.
God damn it, that's too good.
That's smart thinking.
That's one where I'm like, fuck, I wish I'd have thought of that. Because I won't ape that idea, but I wish I'd have thought of that.
That's a bold choice. That has to be a pretty big tattoo, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably a tender area, too. Yeah. Your lower gut.
I don't get tattoo tenderness for what one person tells me is an easy spot. The next person tells me is pure pain.
It's almost like it's a case-to-case basis.
Yeah, but then you get as long as it ain't on bone, it's fine. And then,
see, and I'm the other way. Like I think probably my worst tattoo spots that I've had are the back of your fucking triceps, like where your arm fat is, where your bat wing arm fat is. That sucks because it feels like somebody's pitching your arm fat for 3 hours.
And then I've heard people say that getting over the elbow was excruciating because it's right on the bone.
I've heard that too. Like I've heard, the closer, the more bony, the worse it is. But that's the only shit that's hurt me is the tricep area.
Was it ever bad enough for you? Like, I need a break?
No.
But I think for some people it gets like that. I think
Yeah,
lower
I think
threshold
so, too.
pain. It's like, hey, I need a breather.
Like I can disassociate well enough. I can kind of check out for the most part.
Have you had tattoos that were so non-painful that you're like, if you could,
I
you
could take a nap.
You could have taken or been on your phone.
Absolutely.
Oh no, shit. Some of them
Yeah.
are that mild.
But also my tattoo artist, like he and I like are always chatting. Like we're pals. So like I've never
So he's like breathing on your neck to make it calm
whispered in
down,
my
little
ear.
one. He's stroking your hair.
He has more than once to where it's become a running joke. Serenaded me to whatever song is playing on the overhead speakers. Like he has definitely leaned into my ear and whispered, "Warrants sometimes she cries," while tattooing me.
That's a good tattoo song.
Yeah, that song rules. But yes, I have one in the chamber that
Okay.
I don't have that I haven't finalized just yet. One last episode 2 of season 22, Mona Lisa. I think that's probably the 4th time we've used Mona Lisa as some manner of pun for a title.
For a Lisa-centric episode.
Yeah. The family is all visiting Grandpa. He gives them their inheritance early, which is $50 each. And the family not impressed by their inheritance.
I love that idea that Grandpa lost his savings by bankrolling a Broadway musical about Eddie Liddell, the little person who had one at bat in the major leagues.
That's a real thing.
Yep, like the Cleveland Indians in the 40s or 50s or something like that. And I guess I remember hearing that the owner told them that he had a hitman, a sniper in the stands, and if he swung the bat, he'd shoot him.
I never heard that part of that story.
Imagine him watching a adorable 3-foot tall man swing a bat and get shot in the face. And like the old timey announcers played it off. Oh, I guess Eddie Liddell took one high and inside.
Oh, look at that.
Someone alert his family.
Take your base.
Get the littlest body bag. Oh, we're having fun.
It's accurate what they show here for just a second. He also wore the jersey number 1/8.
Oh, really?
That's also a real part of that story. That's an insane story.
That guy was an owner. I think he's part of a family of team owners over the years that like always were all about stunts to
Bonkers
build.
stunts. Yep.
Back when you could just owning a baseball team was like owning a drugstore. You didn't have to be a billionaire. Like they were actually, they were struggling to pay their bills if they didn't have a good season, which pro sports is so far beyond that now. It's hard to even imagine.
Yeah.
There's a couple left, like I think it's the owners of the Bengals. Their family, their only form of wealth is that team.
That's crazy.
Like their grandpa got in on it. So that's how like they got started in it. Like they're not tech billionaires who bought a team for fun.
That baseball owner also would do bonkers shit like everyone who shows up to the game tonight gets a live chicken. Like he was known for that kind of crazy shit.
Either him or his son was, I think, behind Disco Demolition Night when they blew up all those disco records for the White Sox.
He was in on that.
Yeah.
I think later in life he like owned some minor league team in Florida, like the Tampa Bay Tampas or something. You know what I mean? Some
Tampa Bay Sunburns
minor league team, and tried to do free vasectomy night on Father's Day.
What the
where
hell?
he would give away like coupons for vasectomy, but the religious right got news of it and protested. He also locked the doors of the stadium for one game to set the lowest attendance record for that arena.
Shit.
Yep. The players played to no one. That's awesome. Pretty into that.
A showman.
Yeah.
True showman.
Yeah, a true G. So they go to the mall to spend their inheritance, this $50. Bart spends his making Gil run up the down escalator. That's fun. Haven't seen Gil in a while.
Yeah.
Marge wants to buy this handbag, and she sees the price tag. Oh, it's only $50, and goes up there to buy it. And it turns out it's actually $500. The price tag was folded over, and these fucking looky-loos, Hibbert's wife and a couple others, are like,
Lovejoy's wife.
yeah, like, what's the matter, Marge? I thought you were gonna buy it. So she puts it on the credit card because fuck them.
Yeah.
And then so she immediately has like, you know, bad buyer's remorse, which I'm somebody who gets that, so I get that. Oh God, what am I gonna do? I shouldn't have bought this thing. Homer, to be fair, Homer, pretty decent Homer right here, is like, well, if you're gonna return it tomorrow, let's go out tonight and go to a fancy restaurant. At least enjoy this handbag for one night.
And before we get there, too, what Homer spent his money on, was it renting a goddamn carpet cleaner?
Yes.
Named the Rug Dentist, which is the best name for a carpet cleaner. There's a cat in it. He doesn't know if it's their cat or not.
Which it definitely is. At some point, he vacuumed up Snowball 5.
Why would he want to shampoo the carpets? Yeah.
That's what he went with.
He's a man who follows his whims.
And the Rug Dentist is an amazing name for the Rug Doctor. That is very funny.
I didn't even put together rug.
Really?
I was thinking carpet cleaner. Yeah, but I didn't think rug. You're right, though. Rug Doctor for our overseas listeners is that's the one you can rent and bring home to use yourself.
Yeah, there's the kiosks at like grocery stores.
Yeah,
you
I
rent a
the
Rug Doctor.
Yep, the Rug Dentist. That makes more sense.
I can't believe you didn't even make that connection.
I was like, why the fuck would it be the Rug Dentist?
That's even funnier, not realizing that that's an actual product.
I have never rented bring home yourself.
Yeah,
I've always had apartment complexes where they're like, you have to pay somebody to do this
on move out.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that, and I've used like a real deal carpet cleaner, but I've never rented one. Like I know someone who owns one.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just fill a thing with water, and it's kind of like wet vacuuming.
Yeah.
And then you dump out the dirty water. You can see that the water is gross, so you can be ashamed of how you live.
I used to have a mini one. I used to clean car interiors for a job I had. With that water, we're animals.
Did you really?
Yep.
Like detailing?
Yep. For a car dealership. So if you traded your car in, I was the schlub that had to get it looking nice.
Boy, that sucks even more, because then people really don't give a shit about their car if they know they're going to sell it.
Oh, I saw some shit.
Literal?
Yeah.
Literal
no dookie that I could think
feces.
of. No. That was really grounded into the carpet. You couldn't even tell anymore. But yeah, there were some sick people out there.
I can't believe you did that for a living.
Yeah, minimum wage, baby.
I'm only that blown away because I have more than one Snapchat story subscription to exactly that, like watching people clean cars, because I find it really satisfying.
Yeah. And you maybe know my car is rarely dirty. It's often not spick and span.
Right. I would never like drop a gummy bear into the cup holder and eat it.
Yeah.
But it's never dirty.
Yeah, and about once or twice a year, I give it a good once over. I really get in there in the nooks and the crannies.
Once a year, I will take my vehicle somewhere to give it the real tight detailing. I hate cleaning the inside of my car.
Oh, see, the inside's the part I don't mind. I do it in quadrants. You just get in the seat and you do everything in that seat you can reach. And then
No, I get the process.
Oh, man,
I just don't enjoy it.
I look at it as I tackle it. It's like a war. I'm winning each battlefield. Look at the front. It's decimated. Look how shiny it is. Now I'm getting back.
Nah.
The vacuuming. Oh, like, man, my dad didn't beat, but verbally, gee, you should watch me vacuum a car. It's almost like my dad's going to holler at me at any minute. You move that vacuum head at a literal glacial pace, because heaven forbid one speck of gravel doesn't get picked up. And my dad will also he's like, well, make sure you don't put your feet down right away. See, it was wet out here. It's like, I'm going to put my feet down in the car eventually. We can't keep it looking like it's a hospital floor forever. It's a car.
I more often than not, especially if it even slightly needs it, if I go to a car wash that also does the inside, I'll have the inside done, but I'll go get a real deal, like we clean out the vents with a Q-tip detailing once a year.
Okay. Well, I do that when I clean. If I don't have Q-tips, I'll just twist up I got it so I could fold up a paper towel good. I get in the little cracks in the rear view mirror. Oh, I got a system, baby.
You got a system. Look at you.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm fucking passing that off.
Everything else I own is in shambles, but God damn it.
Your life.
Look at those vents.
Fucking britches are full of centipedes, but them vents.
Fucking wiping my ass with fucking McGriddle wrappers.
Oh my God.
See, I don't even think that would work.
No,
you're just pushing a mess around the lot.
You're just smearing. You ain't getting anything up. You're just smearing.
God, that sounds tactilely does not sound very pleasant at all. Why don't you use the outside of the wrapper? Why do I want to touch the grease?
Cheese in here. Not the wrapper, my asshole.
Yeah.
Still cheese in here.
I'm not digesting worth a shit nowadays.
Oh, shit. So they're out enjoying their fancy night out, Homer and Marge, at a restaurant I don't think we've seen before. It's not the fucking Gilded Frog or whatever fancy restaurant is. It's a new one, I think. They're out enjoying themselves. Marge, ultra paranoid that something's going to spill on this purse that she has to take back. Have you ever, I think that's, at least on television, more of a female thing. Like, I can't afford this dress, but I'm going to buy it and return it tomorrow. Have you ever done anything like that? Get a jacket or me neither.
Never.
I think I don't know if it's just a female thing or just a thing on TV.
Or just
both.
As a fat person, I know the clothes I'm going to buy are going to be unappealing, but they cover my misshapen form, and it's a means to an end.
Can this cover my weird egg body?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I have never that's not true. Before I reached peak fatness, do you remember the forbidden fruit of finding a cool thing in a 2XL? Back before the internet made everything available, that's fuck.
Look at this.
I can actually wear that. Fuck. If that was so rare, if that came up, I'm fucking owning it. I will sell something else to buy that.
Now I think the same, except for bigger sizes.
Yeah, and
they got this in this.
Yeah, and I think another thing for me too, just my tastes. I don't go for I'd rather have a cool random ass T-shirt that costs $30.
Yeah,
it's I don't want I do want a shitty ass Rolex, as we've discussed. Yep. That'd be about the only Gucci ass thing. I can't even think of, even if I had money to burn. If all of a sudden, you have $5 million, I'd probably wear the same coat. You know, I would probably just not wear clothes until they're falling apart. I would probably buy the same clothes and just would freshen them up.
Retired
exactly.
Earlier, sure.
We would let my clothes go out gracefully instead of exploding in a goddamn fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. I blew the ass out of a pair of dress pants and a chicken wing. I was like, Jesus, it's got a draft in here. My whole ass was hanging out of a pair of dress pants. Jesus, I had to walk like an Egyptian against the wall to get out of it. And of course it was half price wing night, so it's fucking bedlam. I was like, oh fuck, that is my bare bottom or my lower, wherever my underwear ends, hitting bare wood bench. That's why it's cold. Holy fuck. That's why I know you're team dress pants. I enjoy them too, but they blow out, man. Fucking dress pants.
I've never once blown out a pair.
I've worn a 3.
Were they 11 years old and falling to dust already?
I learned that there's some things you get what you pay for with dress pants too. I now have my plus size dress pants of choice. They are a good pair of fat guy jeans. Well, what blows out in fat guy jeans? You blow the crotch out. Yeah. That thigh friction. All of a sudden, the dough starts poking out of the biscuit. God, I've had that happen before. God, I had 2 pairs of work pants that I did manual labor work that I loved, that the crotch blew out of, and I was so sad. My mom took it to her friend, and she fucking you're replacing blowing out fucking semi tires. What do they call that on truck tires? And you don't get fresh tires. You gotta retread my goddamn crotch denim. She had to get some fucking tough skin fabric. There you go. Try to burn through these tubs.
In there with epoxy and a stitcher like she's patching a tire.
Oof. This is friction burns, my God. Oh, man. Ever get those blood blisters in your inner thighs from doing something too rigorous in jeans?
Been there.
Jesus. That'll fucking wake you up in the morning. Size of a grape? What, like a pop? That'll bleed out. Ruin my bed?
Fucking Lance this one in the shower.
Yeah, I've literally done that before. Oof, that was not a good idea. That's a lot of blood.
Getting dizzy.
It's like I've had to think about that. Like looks like I'm fucking self-harming in here. No, it's cool, Mom. Just popping my inner thigh blisters. What? Does this have to do with rap music?
Real sad boy in the shower, bleeding out.
Because I made the mistake of playing 45 minutes of pickup basketball in pants.
Ingenious.
The nerve of me.
How dare you?
Dare move.
So Marge is terrified of getting his handbag spilt on. And that's when Homer spills cocktail sauce on it. Just a drop.
Enough
just a
to
drip.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lisa is deciding what to do with her 50, and she ends up going on I don't know that this is real, but I'm going to assume it is, a microloan website where she can essentially donate to a poor entrepreneur in the third world. is the gist of it. We get a little educational video about what microloaning is, and it's because they put this much work into it that makes me think maybe it's a real thing, that they put this much work into explaining it.
Yeah.
And she's looking at the globe, and she's like, oh, there's someone in East Springfield. And it's Nelson.
Holy shit. We get some good Nelson and some good Mama Nelson.
Holy shit. And there's like a little video of Nelson, talking into the webcam, being like, hey, I want to start a bicycle customization shop, so I need some startup fund. This is like Kickstarter.
Yep, exactly, yeah.
Except it's investing, not donating. That's the big difference between Kickstarter and actual investments. So he's cutting his video about how much he wants to have this bicycle customization shop, and his mom fucking pokes her head in and is like, I gotta get the rest of this tattoo removed, and pulls up her shirt and it says assy lady on her fucking abdomen. It clearly used to say classy, but she can only do one letter at a time. And then at the end of the video, she's like, I gotta pawn this computer so that we can, what did she say? Do something for your birthday.
Yeah.
So we can go to White Castle. That's what it is. I gotta pawn this computer so we can go to White Castle for your birthday. Oh, Jesus Christ.
She's a handful.
So Lisa donates her $50 to Nelson and his custom bike shop, which is called Snot Wheels.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it written on the sign.
I might be stealing your thunder. There's a great scene early on when Martin is the first customer.
Yeah.
And fucking Nelson's matter-of-fact breakdown of why his bike is lame is so good.
Also, think of Martin. You have to take your bike to the guy who's probably
Ruining
the
your life.
one giving you all the shit for your lame bike.
Yeah. It's like, well, first off, we're going to take this paint it black, lift the seat up. You know this basket? We're going to remove it and replace it with nothing.
Yeah.
And Martin's like, okay, here we go. That sounds like a good idea. And there's a cash transaction, and a young business has bloomed.
Were bicycles enough of a thing in your youth that having a cool bicycle was a thing you wanted?
God, yeah. There were other kids that were more in it than I was. But when I was real little, I just wanted a bike I wouldn't get teased for. But I had a red Huffy, no gears, little kid bike.
Basic bitch bike,
It was fine. It could take a beating. That's what mattered as a kid, because we put him through so much fucking abuse. Is can this bike fall off of a fucking backyard shed? Because we thought it'd be a good idea to get it up there. Yeah. I remember I wanted accoutrements. I had spokey dokes on the spokes.
Are those the thing that slides up and down? I never knew those had a name.
Yeah, spokey dokes.
Those little popcorn things that slide up and down.
Oh, you could get the spokey dokes. You could get the ones that had reflective, I'm sure it was just a sticker, but it was reflective and kind of sparkly.
Okay.
And there were Whistler spokey dokes. If you got going fast enough, they made a high-pitched noise. God, I wanted to, I fucking did some scam fucking mid-level marketing to try to get a radio for my bike that never worked. I did it. I sold the stationery, got a radio that never worked. Jesus, I was mad. It had like, it was like a light with a radio and like a sound effect thing. I was like, oh, this is going to be the tits. And of course, it never worked once.
I sold the stationery.
Yeah, I did. I emotionally manipulated my grandmother into buying overpriced stationery. Jesus, all to get a broken bike radio.
You could have just bought a radio, just a portable radio, and put it on the handlebar.
No, see, that was the key. You didn't. It was for kids that had $0, but you had relatives that had money that wouldn't give it to you.
Oh, I understand how the child slavery salesmanship thing goes.
I wonder who else I pawned that garbage off on. Because I got enough to get that goddamn... And I look, to this day, if you look at older comic books, they still have the Olympia Sales Club. Like, only make 17 sales to get this electronic battleship. I wonder how many pieces of that garbage I sold.
I mean, I don't have kids, but I'm sure you do too, have plenty of friends with kids. I'm constantly getting hit up for garbage. Like, we're fundraising to get new basketball uniforms. It's like, yeah, I'll take some fucking frozen cookie dough. I don't care. Just mark me down for about $40 or whatever you think I need, little girl. I don't care.
God, I don't really...
You don't get hit up by your friends as kids?
Maybe they just realize I'm a bum. Maybe they just
maybe they just are good at knowing their audience.
They see what I'm wearing and just assume like those pants are going to explode in a chicken joint. He's got his own. We should be raising money for pants.
Oh my God! You get your own fundraiser.
Yeah. God, the indignity of feeling bare wood on your fucking ass when you're eating chicken wings. Like,
if you don't want it, for some it's a thrill.
Yeah, right?
But if you
some
don't
of them are just
want it,
on the fucking verge of blasting in their goddamn jeans because they're so excited.
But yes, a surprise revealing of oneself is very rarely good. So Nelson wants to do these custom bicycles. Martin's his first customer. He comes in, gives him some money to it's essentially pimp my ride.
Yeah,
kind
totally.
of. Yeah.
Which is that kind
or
of...
at this point, I bet it's West Coast Custom Choppers.
Yep. Oh, good
I'm
call.
sure it's Jesse James Custom Choppers. So, Lisa's his backer, and that business is off and running. Snot wheels. God damn it.
Ridiculous.
Marge gets her refund at Costington's, takes the purse back, sneaks it past. The lady doesn't see that it's got cocktail sauce on it, so that was successful. That's fine. And now Homer is super into fake buying stuff. Yeah. Oh my God! So we cut to the Simpsons house at some point, and the house is so full, just packed full of brand new shit that he's going to have to take back. It's all got price tags still on it and everything. And I can't imagine, why would you want to do this?
Yeah, what's there to gain?
Is there some sick thrill?
Yeah. I have returned so few. I have thrown away $1,500 in merchandise in my life. I bet if you added it up, just because it wasn't worth the effort for me to return something.
Yeah, you know how bad something has to be for me to return it?
Yep. Oh my God. The fucking cook's help could make eye contact with me and press his semi-erect penis into my meal. I would think about just eating around the fucking mush spot. The rest of this is good.
The mushroom stamp that's in your potatoes.
There's so many hash browns. I didn't need all of these. I just pick around.
I've said it before with food. You would have to fuck something up so bad for me to send it back.
I have had people 2 times in my life return meals without my consent because they're appalled by the idea that I wouldn't do it myself. It's like, what? You have to. You can't eat that. Well, they're busy. They're not that fucking busy. I'm not going to let you eat that. You're going to get sick.
You go out with a type A personality who does that kind of thing. It's like, Jesus Christ. I was having a meal once with a couple of friends, and one of them sent the meal back and asked for the menu to order something else just because she didn't like that thing.
Oh my God.
Not even that there was something wrong with it, just I don't really like this.
That's insane.
Can you bring me the menu? I was like, I'm going to fucking kill myself in this booth right now. Yeah, what are you doing?
Start us all on fire.
Holy shit.
I mean, if a meal is fucked up, I get it, but that kind of shit, yeah.
I could order steak. You could bring me macaroni and cheese. I will eat it with no complaints, and then at the end of it, if you charged me for steak, I will pay it and still tip 40%.
I probably wouldn't, as long as the food prices were roughly the same, I just fucking roll with it. But if it was something where maybe if my meal was $12 more, that'd be enough. Like, hey, I don't know if you remembered, I didn't get this. Oh, okay, I'll take it off. That doesn't bug me. It's the returning and expecting new food. I can point out a discretion, like, oh, hey, I never did get that thing. And like, okay, we'll take it off. That, for some reason,
even then,
doesn't rise my cockles, but like returning a whole meal and having them cook me something new bugs me.
Like, especially like if you think about most like diner breakfast places, I'm going to order this omelet. It comes with fucking hash browns and a toast of choice. It comes with like 9 different things. Yep. I would never once, if I never got the hash browns, would never say anything.
For me, it'd be more like if it was an extra thing. Like, oh, could I get a coffee? And then I don't get a coffee. That's like, hey, I never got the coffee. Like, oh, okay, I won't charge you. That kind of thing doesn't bug me a bit. Because I have that weird... It's not even weird. This is how people should be. If you didn't pay for something, just have them take it off. Like, I have a weird, like, hey, I get angry about things in a weird way, but like, I didn't pay for that. Why should, like, you've seen me at gas stations. If a gas pump doesn't work, fuck, I'll buy gas elsewhere. Like,
yeah, I've seen you do it.
You're not the only gas jockey in this town.
I watched you get less than stellar, not even atrocious. I've seen you get not good service in a bar and out of spite go upstairs to get drinks at the upstairs bar and then come back downstairs.
Oh, yeah, I've done that before.
I've watched
but that's
you
not
do
even,
that.
It wasn't less than solid. They just didn't serve me, and I stood there for quite a while. It's like, well, apparently this conversation's riveting, so...
You went there,
I stood there for a solid minute. That's in a
60 seconds.
In a fairly quiet bar.
And you went and got drinks upstairs for the rest of the night.
Yep.
That's insane.
You know where they were very prompt in giving me my beers? Upstairs. Because they appreciate me as a person.
You're fucking lunatic.
Yep.
So
I got my comeuppance. Those beers never been colder, never been fresher.
No, you didn't get any comeuppance.
It felt so good.
No one but you knows that you got revenge on anyone.
I'm what matters at night when I lie in bed.
When it goes in my Batman? Is this a Batman speech?
As I replay the events of my day over and over again until the sun rises.
Whatever you got to do for a W, I guess.
That's exactly what it is.
It away from you.
My life is a losing season. I'm already out, not playoff eligible. You need those moral victories.
Oh, shit.
You didn't put up with bad service.
I'm never going to win the game. I just need a good play.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I need something to jazz up the last seconds of Sports Center.
Holy shit. So Lisa tells Nelson that she's the investor. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but Nelson's super appreciative. Like, oh my God, thank you so much. He's got this thriving business going on now. So he's so successful that he's going to drop out of school, which is not what Lisa had intended. There's an insane scene at the school. I know what you're going to say. Where Lisa is talking to Skinner about it, just like, yeah, he's going to drop out of school because his bicycle customization shop is so successful. He even has employees. He's paying $11 an hour. And Skinner, like, snaps to attention just like, $11 an hour? And, like,
oh, my God.
Skinner wants to quit his job as a principal to go work for Nelson customizing bicycles. And he's like, what is he like? Which tie? Which tie should I wear? He likes the sleeveless look, rips the sleeves off of his shirt and jacket. And that's when Chalmers walks in.
A sleeveless Chalmers.
Also with no sleeves. And they stop and they just stare at each other for a second. And Chalmers is just like, I take it you also heard about the $11 an hour. Insane. Grown middle-aged men deep into their careers, willing to throw it all away for $11 an hour. That is an outstanding sequence.
Yup.
Holy shit. Homer takes all this shit back. This is the main reason I can't imagine ever doing this. Fucking returning shit is a huge pain in the ass.
My God, yeah.
So he's taking everything back. They won't take it back. They're like, this has clearly all been used. This hot plate is still hot.
Yeah.
Was one of my favorites.
These ping pong balls have been served and volleyed.
And she goes off to get her manager, and that's when Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator comes out. This dates this episode immediately.
Just kind of seems forced a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
like,
it's not organic at all.
Yep.
So he comes out and busts Homer, and there's some gags about Homer being indignant, but then he comes back because like, oh, you need a release form to air this, right? And it's not a good joke.
Nope. Yeah, that part. I was like, God damn
I've never
it.
watched that show. You watch that show?
I've seen bits and pieces of episodes, yeah.
Okay.
It's what you'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's a hell of an idea. It's a good, I mean.
It's one of those things. I can't believe you guys made a television show out of this. Yeah. Like, I would understand if this were a thing, but to be a thing that you then put on television seems crazy to me.
Watching the guys, it's $1 million, because there is something watching those guys squirm and lie. Like, you're holding 3 Totino's party pizzas, a fucking 12er of fucking... out of some kind of Bartles and James. And I just, she's a local student. I just hoping her grades were up. Just going to check the grades out. Like, what? Just fucking admit you're a fucking pedo, dude.
See, I would get no joy from watching them squirm. Like, what clips I've seen, I'm always just like, why are the cameras still on? Yeah. Set that guy on fire. Yeah. Like, I don't, it's not entertaining to me.
Yeah, but I can see... like why it's so successful. It's
sure.
Like, yeah, look at that fucking people. There's a voyeuristic thrill over watching creeps get busted.
Yeah,
well, Cops has been on the air for
Cheaters,
30 fucking. Yep.
Yeah, I get it. It's just not for me. The extent of my Chris Hansen knowledge is the episode of the Boondocks that has to do with Chris Hansen, and outside of that, I don't know shit. I know his voice.
Yep.
Like, as soon as
very
he showed
distinctive
up.
voice.
Another distinguished voice. That doesn't really work because I didn't really know his voice. But Lisa introduces Nelson to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Of Facebook. Because they go to some job fair or something like that. Some manner of expo. A lot of expos in Springfield.
Yeah, right? They must have a real good convention center.
Yeah. Introduces him to Zuckerberg to be like, hey, you tell him he should stay in school. You're successful and you need to, you got to stay in school. But he, of course, is like,
well, actually,
I dropped out of college. Over there, Richard Branson, so did he. And over there, Bill Gates, so did he. Yeah. So it backfires on Lisa.
And that had to be his voice because it sounded like non-voice acty enough.
Yeah, it is him, too.
You think something like him, he's probably the right age where The Simpsons was a big part of his childhood. So, of course he would jump at that.
It's funny that he's drawn the way he is, too, because it's like, he doesn't look anything like he does today with his weird, bangs. I'm an android trying to fit in, bangs haircut. Yeah. So he must have looked different back then. Nelson's business then completely falls apart, pretty literally, because kids start returning their bikes with shit just falling off of them. Even Milhouse has some sass.
Yep.
Everybody's mad and returning their broken bikes.
Yeah, because he's trying to impress a girl with his cool bike. His bike fell apart.
Yeah, and the cool girl is my grandma.
My grandma.
God damn it. And Skinner's like, oh, the epoxy you've been using is water soluble. Yeah. That means it doesn't, that water dissolves it.
He needs it explained very rudimentary.
Holy shit. Like, water, glue, go bye-bye. Some stay. No, all bye-bye.
Yeah.
Is extremely funny. So Nelson realizes he's got to go back to school, and then he and Lisa go out, and they go out skating and have a nice sweet moment skating around.
Stay away from Nelson months, Lisa. He's a bad boy. I'm going to break your heart.
All of your dad chemicals flare up
get away from that boy,
Lisa.
Maybe Milhouse isn't flashy, but he's dependable.
Don't date Lisa or Milhouse. Don't date Milhouse.
Van Houten boys. You got good
A
credit.
fucking dud? Are
Yeah.
you really going to sit there and claim that
Duds.
she should date Millhouse?
Duds will give you grandkids. That's,
Okay, now this is about you.
Yeah,
This is
I
about
bet
you
that's
now.
a talk that parents have. Some kid's a real fucking dud, but duds can knock up your daughter, give you fucking decent good grandkids.
This is about you. You're being selfish. You chase Nelson if that's what you want, Lisa.
Only gonna break your heart.
2 men without
Who's gonna
children
be there to pick up the pieces? Not you.
Not Millhouse either.
Millhouse is though.
Millhouse
He's gonna
is
be.
exactly
He's gonna
be
get
there.
forgotten
He's gonna
immediately
be the fucking shoulder to cry on. Yeah,
until he shoots up a fucking post office.
fucking dud. And that's it. That's another batch of the episodes in the bag. We're into season 22 now, Nathan. 22 fucking
did it.
seasons.
What season are they on the show right now?
I think 34.
34. Okay. Wow.
We're not even close.
Remarkable what we're doing here.
Yeah.
How many decades after we're gone will they be talking about this podcast?
1.
Man, you think we're that lucky?
I was being pretty hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, 94 episodes in. 94 straight weeks we've done this. It's fun. It's a good time.
We're having laughs. We're learning things. I hope you are too.
We'll do it again next week. Episodes 3 through 7 is your homework for next week. That's of season 22 of The Simpsons. We'll do 5 more. You can find us on the internet at Barley Basket USA on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BarleyBasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. You got anything going on in life this week?
No, and that's not a complaint.
Just chilling?
Just hanging out, just letting the summertime, baby. Letting the sun hit my body.
Look at that. The snow's almost
frolicking,
gone.
Just
It's
getting in the mud.
It's not almost gone, but I'm trying.
It's taking a real bite out of crime.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Now we went from a frozen hellscape to a dirty, muddy hellscape.
yeah, that mud snow.
We need a good
now.
rain. What we need now. Clean it up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Does Dad talk? We're talking about the weather. Yeah. Days are getting longer.
Oh shit! If we're starting to turn into dads, we gotta go.
There we go. Punch us out.